Well, welcome, Heritage. We're so glad tonight to be sitting here with Sister Mary Ann Otwell, and appreciate you taking time out to do this interview. And you still got it on the piano.
I didn't miss very many notes, but a few. Hadn't played in a while.
Oh man, but it's still great. I remember you used to playing on the platform.
Yeah, I love playing. You know, that's one of the gifts God gave me that I could tell you about. Is I've never learned to read music or any of those things.
Yeah.
I can remember when we lived in the country, I didn't have a piano, but we were around music all the time, and I loved the piano. And I'd get at the kitchen table and just play on the kitchen, pretend I was playing the piano. I did that, and my sisters did too.
Yeah, 100% by ear.
Yeah, and God gave me that gift,
That's right.
and I've always had it. I haven't used it lately, you know, but I love music, and I love playing the piano.
Well, that was beautiful.
Thank you.
And it didn't seem very rusty at all. So great. Well, like I said, so glad for. I call her Aunt Mary, Sister Mary Ann Otwell, and why don't you tell us about where you were born, and maybe just tell us your journey to Heritage. And I say it that way because there's so much in there. So yeah. I'll just let you start.
Okay. Before I start, GT, thank you for all you do around here, this ministry, and I want to tell you how much I love you and your family and what y'all mean to me. But I was born in Waldo, Arkansas, May the 27th. I'm not going to tell what year. But anyway, I was raised by a wonderful mother and daddy. My mother is one of the sweetest people and one of the most hardworking people I know, and I love her so much, and I miss she and Dad both. But my dad was a good man. He was a hard worker. They both had great work ethics. But the thing that they gave me, and I'm sure my brothers and sisters, is an environment that always involved the church and Christian music, gospel music. So my whole life was that. Yeah. So that's kind of how they helped to influence my whole life, and I love them dearly. I wouldn't trade them for $1 million. And I hear people say, well, they weren't perfect. Well, I don't know anybody that is.
That's right.
But they did the very best they could. And they raised 5 kids. And the oldest one was Billie Jean. She's the oldest, and I talked to her 2 or 3 times a week, keeping up with her. And of course, she had 3 children, Sandra and Alan and Linda. And Sandra was the oldest, and I've always had a special relationship with her because she was the first niece. And so I'm still in touch with her. She went there to Southern Arkansas University, got her degree, and is teaching school now, and she's very special. But all those kids are. Then there's Imogene, who lives here. She and William, and she's a special person. I don't know how to describe her. She still kind of looks after me.
Right.
You know, instead of me always looking after her, she still kind of looks after me, which I love. And I was talking to Rocky the other day. We were talking about her, and he said she's alive. She'd be out doing everything for everybody, and she would. I mean, nobody would go without needs or what they needed with her here.
Yeah.
But, you know, back about 25 years ago, she began to not see as well, and she developed retina pigmentosa. So that's been a battle for her, but the wonderful thing about her is she handles it really well, and I'm so thankful for that. And I don't know how she does it. I couldn't do it if it were me. I don't know. But the Lord's been good to her, and she gets in heaven one of these days. She'll be able to see. So Amen. I'm thankful about that. And she had 2 wonderful boys, Perry and Paul. Perry, the oldest, and he's had some hard knocks in life. Went through cancer, and that was a real struggle for him. But you know, he's back home now with them, and he's a blessing to them. I mean, that's just beyond measure. But and then there's Paul, your younger son, and he and I are real good friends. I love Paul. He's so funny, and he's lots of fun to be around. But he also has gleaned a lot from Imogene Williams' home. He loves music. He loves gospel music. Still likes to sing, and but the Lord's been good to him. He's got to, go into business and 2 or 3 funeral homes and a local business there, the Willow Tree in Jefferson. So they've done well. So I'm thankful for that. And then there's my brother. I'm gonna call him Ben on this show. Because I've always called him that, and
which is actually why Ben is my Ben.
That's true. Right. Yes, and that's a good thing. But Ben's a good guy. He and I've always been really close. I've been always in touch with his ministries, if not involved in his ministry over the years.
Right.
And he, he's one of the great preachers. I believe. I think he's done so much good over the years, and it's been hard for him. He, has originated or built 5 churches, I believe it is, from the ground up, and he's done quite well. He, the one thing I want you to know, though, he could not have done that had he not been married to Charlotte Otwell.
Man.
She has to be, I said, when she gets to heaven, she's going to have lots of stars in her crown.
Yeah.
That lady is just unbelievable. So it was a joint effort with both of them.
Yes.
And they've been very successful it's for the Lord. And I love both of them. And I just think that Debbie will be remembered as one of the great preachers, maybe a pioneer in some areas. I think he will be remembered for the 2 that I like that he had in his ministry was the homeless effort out in Fort Worth. I thought that was, I could just see God all in that.
Right.
And then the stand against abortion, and those were 2 just outstanding. And I'm sure there's more. I know he's been involved in more and different things.
Right.
But those are the 2 that I think that he did that's just will never be forgotten, and he was a great preacher for his time.
Yes.
And then there was George. That's kind of a sad story today because we lost him a couple of years ago to cancer.
Yeah.
But he was different from Ben. He was a little bit more laid back, and never got in trouble. And he says he took a lot of Ben's whippings he should have gotten. I don't know if that's true or not, but he probably did. But anyway, sweet young man, and he pastored churches and had 6 children, and so he had a good life, but I still miss him today.
Yeah.
I really do. He was very sweet.
So what was it like there in Waldo growing up? Tell us a little bit about your early days.
Well, I started in Waldo. I started school in Waldo, and of course we lived out in the country. Cause I'm a country girl. I'm still a country girl. I'll never be anything else. But we lived out in the country, and we had to do all chores that Mom and Daddy did. It was a whole family effort in everything that was done, and so I enjoyed that. And you have to cut me off.
You're good. Keep on. You're good.
I was thinking about. Let me check my notes, GT.
That's
I got
fine.
some notes here. I know. I was raised in Waldo, born in Waldo, raised in Waldo, and then we moved to Bodco, Arkansas for 3 years, and then we went from there to Willisville 3 years, and then back to Waldo. But what influenced my life during all that moving was that when I came back to Waldo, my last 3 years of high school, I had friends. There was 5 of us, 5 girls that were friends, and they were all straight A students in school. And I was probably a average, maybe B student. I wasn't up there with them. We were in chemistry and Latin, and oh my goodness, I didn't know what was going on. But anyway, I'll never forget them because one was a Methodist, one was a Southern Baptist, one was Church of Christ, and one was Presbyterian, and I was Baptist. But we were great friends all through high school.
Right.
But they were very smart, and I was kind of the average, and I always wondered, why do they like me? I mean, why do they want to run around with me? I mean, but they did. But that's what influenced me the most in going on to college, because they were going. So I thought,
Right.
I think I want to go too. So I did, and I was given a grant and to come to Washita to play basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, my mom and dad wanted me to go too.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that was fun. And then I graduated from high school, and then I went to Washita in 1956. And then there I played tennis, I played basketball. Loved the university because it was a great Christian university, and it was big in music. The Point of Grace, I don't know if you've heard them, the Trio Girls. It's got all the years, it's been a few years back. Oh, great. They came from Washita, but they were big in music and big in Christianity. So it was a good school for me. I made lots of friends and enjoyed being there. So I went from there, after I graduated from there in 1956, I went to, I got a job up in Essex, Missouri at Richland High School. That's where my brother, next eldest brother, and his wife, Carolyn, lived. And she's a teacher. She taught economics, home economics, which you don't see that taught nowadays. She taught sewing, and she taught cooking and all that, and the girls loved it. She taught at the same school. So I got a job there, and I was there for 5 years.
What were you doing there?
Well, I was just basically teaching physical education. I taught gymnastics, which I had never trained in gymnastics.
You got your degree in kinesiology, isn't that right?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I got my degree from Washita, and I got a BSc degree in kinesiology,
Right.
and a minor in speech, believe it or not. and while I was there, I did direct a little one-act play. So that was fun.
Good. So you was coaching. I mean, you was doing PE there
Yeah.
in Missouri.
Yeah. I was just teaching physical education there. I even taught square dance. Can you believe that? And what was so funny about that, I remember my dad used to call square dances and back years and years ago. But I enjoyed that, and it was a great place for me to get started, you know, early in life. And then I went from there to. I went back in the last summer I was there and finished. I went 3 summers in a row, finished my master's degree at Arkansas State University in Jonesboro, Arkansas. And in fact, Debbie and Charlotte came to my graduation and brought me back home. But that was good. Then I came back to Washita from there. I came back to Washita from there. And I coached women's volleyball and women. I was the head coach of the women's tennis team. So that was neat. The basketball job wasn't open at that time. But I stayed there 2 years, enjoyed every minute of it. And then the principal from Stevens High School, which was the most well-known girls basketball program in the state of Arkansas, he had decided he didn't want to coach anymore, so he called up there and got a hold of me. So I went there for a year, and we had a 34-0 record, won the state tournament, went undefeated. Those were the best girls I've ever coached in my life. They were already coached before I got there, but it was a good time there. And then I went from there to East Texas and that's when I got to East Texas. And the man who had a big influence on me then was Mr. R.C. Kennedy. He was the athletic director at East Texas Baptist University, and the connection to our family is his brother, Horace Kennedy, is the one who held all the singing schools all over the place. So they were brothers, so we all knew each other. And Mr. R.C. Kennedy coached at Waldo at one time, but he coached my brother Ben and George and Billie Jean. We all played basketball, but he coached them. But anyway, make a long story short, he was instrumental in getting me to East Texas. I got a job at Elysian Fields High School, went back to the high school level. Two of the best years I've ever had in my life. It was just more fun than you can imagine. But anyway, I lived with the Kennedys in Marshall and commuted to Elysian Fields. So that was fun. And so I had 2 good years there. And while I was there, the president of Panola Junior College called me, Dr. Hayes, I believe his name was, Don Hayes, and wanted me to come start the program at Panola. So here I go. You know, no players, but I had some scholarships. I had like half scholarships so I could pay half of their tuition fees and room and board and all that. So that helped at that time. But anyway, I had to hit the road recruiting, so I did, and got a lot of good players in there, great players. In fact, I had 2 or 3 All-Americans. I brought in Rosie Walker from Emerson, Arkansas, 6'1", post player, big girl. And she went on to make All-American, made the Pan American team, made the 1980 Olympic team, which was a year that they didn't go. President Carter called it off because he didn't, I forget what bothered him, something with Russia or something.
I don't know.
But anyway, let's see. I had several players on there who did really well. We wound up winning 2 national championships there while I was there. So that was huge. I believe the first year we came in 4th. The second year I was there, we came in second or third, and then won it 2 years in a row.
Wow.
So my time at Panola was great.
That's great.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of went from colleges to colleges.
Yeah, I went from
You go to SFA.
yeah, Sue Gunner, who was the head coach at SFA, called me, says, I want you to come. And I said, I'm not coming without Rosie. So anyway, she was my leverage. And so Rosie went with me. So that was a good 4 years because we were ranked up there nationally, 1 and 2 and 3. I mean, we were huge. And so I went under the agreement that after 2 years that I would become the head coach because I wasn't going to be an assistant coach all my life. I mean, you know, I'd been coaching at Panola, and I thought, well, you know, here's my time. So anyway, so sure enough, they put it in the contract, and I took over as head coach after 2 years and was very successful there, bringing in some outstanding players. And then I was there for 4 years, and then I decided I've had enough recruiting. I think I think I'm a pretty good coach, but I think I'm a better recruiter than I am a coach. And I kind of got to that point. I thought, man, I think I'm going to do something else. So I went and got my real estate license, and went into real estate for a while. Bought a property management company and held most of the properties in Nacogdoches. So that went well. Then bought the country kitchen up in the mall. Did you ever eat in those corn dogs?
Yes, we worked there.
Your dad ate quite a few.
Yeah.
That was fun. And so anyway, from there, I went to LeTourneau. Yes. Yeah, they called me from LeTourneau, wanted me to regenerate the program, the women's basketball program. So it took me a while to decide to do that. I thought, oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm going to go into this again. Well, I did. I took this because it appealed to me because it was a Christian university.
Right.
And when I went up there, I just loved the people, and so it was an easy move for me. But that university was founded by Mr. R.G. Letourneau, and he's such a wonderful man. I think I gave his history, the book of him. I believe Rocky or Ryan, one of them have it. But it's a great story to read. He and Mrs. Letourneau both were instrumental in the foundation of that university, which was mainly engineering and aeronautical sciences, and of course they had all the liberal arts and stuff programs there. But it was just he was the one who built the earth-moving equipment that was used in World War II, and that's how he became a millionaire.
That he gave all of his profit,
almost every bit of it to
99% or something.
He gave it away. Yeah. And the thing to remember about that, she was just as instrumental in all that. She reminds me of Charlotte over here. You know, I still give Charlotte lots of credit.
Yeah.
She deserves it.
Yes.
And because they both did well. But anyway, from Letourneau, let's see, I'm trying to think, where'd I go?
And that's where they finally, eventually there gave you the, inducted you in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
4 times.
Well, I don't want to brag on
But they
myself.
did. That's interesting. Interesting fact. We don't want to leave out. I know your back probably hurt.
Yeah. Well, my first induction was into the National Junior College. That was huge for me. I got inducted in the National Junior College
Wow.
Hall of Fame, and then I got inducted into Letourneau Hall of Fame, Panola Hall of Fame, and Ouachita.
Wow.
Yeah, so the one at Ouachita was very special to me.
Bet,
I just love that school, and it meant so
Isn't that
much to me. Yeah, it was great.
That's great.
And so, Lord's been good to me. Throughout all of this, GT, he's been right in the middle of it.
Yes.
You know, all these places I've been, like the girls' basketball team that I coached at Panola, you know, I'd take them. They knew how much the Lord meant to me and how I wanted them to live their lives. They knew that. And they'd get on the van. I'd take them to church. I took them to our church, Ben, when he had the church in Henderson. He knew all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've done that everywhere I've been.
Right.
And so Lord's always been a part of my life.
Right.
And then I came here.
Yeah, I was going to say, why don't you tell us about your most prestigious title, Coach of Heritage?
Yes, I am the head coach
That's
of
right.
Heritage boys basketball
We're
team.
so glad to have you doing that. Appreciate your.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I enjoy it. You know, I didn't at first when Rocky mentioned it to me. I just, you know, I wasn't sure. I thought, you know, I don't know. I mean, I had no idea what I was facing. But you know, once I got in there and got to know the boys and how they reacted to me, even though probably most of them wanted to run me off. Because I'm not easy, but my motivation is usually is always to make them better.
Right.
And that's
right.
all I want them to do.
Well, they loved it.
Yeah, they, you know what? We were good.
Yes.
We had good teams. I mean, Zach and Paul and Josh and Ben and Riley and Jake and Kyle and all of them.
A bunch of little ones coming up too. So.
Yeah, and I tell you, I've enjoyed it, and I've had a lot of fun with it because, you know, when you get to be my age, you get a little senile, and you tend to forget things, and so I did out there on the court some, but Jake always made sure he called out whoever's name I was wanting to call. Sometimes I'd forget their names.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was a lot of fun, and they were good.
Yes.
And they're gonna be good again.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so it's been a blessing, and in all of that, GT, the Lord was always a part of my life. But
Right.
I remember back when I went to we had a lot of revival meetings when I was growing up. That was everybody. It didn't matter which church it was at, whether it's Church of Christ, Methodist, it didn't matter. Everybody was neighbors, and we all went to each other's churches, but this was at White's Chapel. And I remember that real well. The Lord convicted me, and I got up and went to the altar and asked the Lord to save me and
Amen.
forgive me of my sins. And I've been saved ever since.
Hallelujah.
But you know what? I really, I didn't see a remarkable difference in that, and maybe other people do, because my life never really changed.
Right.
Because there wasn't any, you know, it was just,
Yeah.
it's where I was raised and how I was raised and what we did and all those things that.
Right.
So, but I'm glad the Lord saved me, and
Hallelujah.
I couldn't make it without Him. And He brought me here to be with Rocky, who's a very special young man to me. And I know everybody says, "Oh, you've always been partial to him." I probably have, but you know what? He means so much to me, and I've watched him grow, and I know how hard it was for him to step in to follow his dad's footsteps, but he has done brilliantly.
Amen.
He has been really good, and he studies, and you know, if I had to think about how to describe him, it would be that he's so kind, and he's so understanding, and he's so encouraging, and he's all those things. So that's why I came here.
Yeah.
I came here because I wanted to be here to help him,
Yeah.
or to encourage him, and to help him to, you know, he didn't need me, but I wanted to do that
Yeah.
because I knew, you know, it would be difficult for him. But I want to say something about Donna too. What a wonderful wife he's got, and Donna's smart and is a very good helpmate to him, even though she's had a lot of struggles with her health.
Right.
She's a wonderful helpmate for him,
Tremendous
and I love
blessing.
them dearly, and I love this church, love all of our people, and it's just good to be here.
Yes, ma'am. Well, we could go on and on. I mean, it's so nice to be able to just kind of learn a little bit more about you, and a lot of that I've heard, but some people haven't, and we really do appreciate you being here and taking the time you've taken with the kids and with us, and
Yeah,
the love you have for us.
yeah,
And
I do.
we enjoyed it, and I sure appreciate your time tonight.
You're welcome, and I'm glad to be here.
Yes, ma'am. Well, thank you very much, Heritage. Hope you
Bye-bye.
enjoyed that.